Well, as I said, just a very, very warm welcome to everybody joining us. If you're joining us now live or you are on the replay and joining us in the future, a very, very warm welcome. I really do encourage you, if you're joining us live, to ask as many questions as possible and really fully immerse yourself and participate in the session, because I have got a lot to share with you. I really have. So book your next 10 clients in the next 30 days. Yes, that is possible. Like, I very intentionally named this masterclass in a way that would inspire you to want to take action. So I'm assuming you guys are here because that is what you want. And we're going to be looking at what you want, but I'm assuming that a goal around that is what people are here for, which is, you're in the right place, guys. You really are. So let me just introduce myself quickly. For those of you I haven't met before, hello and welcome. I am Nicola Kinnard-Comedy. I'm the director of NKC Equestrian Training. I'm a business mentor. I'm an NLP coach practitioner for equine and canine practitioners. I do lots of things like timeline therapy, EFT or tapping. I'm a trained hypnotherapist. And whilst you might think, what's that got to do with me as a practitioner? What I really specialize in is, yes, business strategy and yes, getting clients, but is also training your brain so that you can be the person that takes action. Because all the strategy in the world, you're going to be learning lots of strategy today, but you're going to see that you have to also be a different person to take that action and to hold what it is you want to create. So I look after strategy as well as training people to become the person that they need to be for their next chapter of business success. And I know you guys are here because, yes, you want more clients, but the deeper reason is that you're here to serve more animals. That's why you want more clients, because you want to help more horses, more dogs, more cats, and some people I'm sure treat cats as well, or any other animals that you look after. So it's so important that we are looking at the mindset as well as the strategy. I have a solid sales background. I used to work for Mars. I've been in the equine industry like many, many, many years. First as a riding instructor. And I also spent time in veterinary sales for Mars. I absolutely love my work, training vets how to sell. It was super fun. And actually many of those skills I've been able to carry through to this business as well. I'm a mother. I've got two not so young kids anymore. They're getting, oh my gosh, my eldest is almost 11 and nearly as tall as me. They're getting older. I'm a big tea drinker, big lover of tea, yoga fan as well. And I think the other thing to know about me is I really do walk when I talk. So I said at the beginning, I'm really action orientated. And everything that I am getting you guys to do from this training is things, one, that I do on a daily basis. You know, I've been running NKC Equestrian Training for almost 10 years. This is still the nuts and bolts of behind the scenes of my own business, as well as what I've supported hundreds of clients all around the world with. So this isn't just like fluffy ideas. This stuff works. I do it. I want you to do it. And my clients do it, and it gets results. It really, really does. So I love helping practitioners to grow their business, double their income, triple the business, get the business off the ground, revitalize their business if they've hit a bit of a plateau. Like, people come to me for all different reasons. And I really love that work so much because I get to change their lives. And also I get to then serve hundreds, thousands and thousands of animals all around the world. So it's such a joy to be helping you all today. It really is. So that's who I am. That's what I do. And that's why I love the work that I do so much. And what I teach does work as well. So you guys are in safe hands. You really are. Now, I think it's really important to say at this point that you don't have to struggle when it comes to building your business or figure it all out on your own. When I first started my business, I I had a dream and a Facebook page, and honestly nothing else really. And I did go about things in hindsight, maybe it's like the hard way. I really thought I had to personally figure everything out. And it doesn't have to be difficult. One of the things that I'm very well known for is making business fun. Because business, you're running your own businesses. It's on your terms. It gets to be fun. It gets to be however you want it to be. Like, I have built this company and grown it very significantly over the years around the life that I want to lead. I want to have time to go and ride the horse that I get to ride, or go and see a friend, or be around with my kids in the holidays. That's how I've built my business, very intentionally. And the kind of the old rules of business, you got to work, particularly coming, well, both sides of the animal industry, but particularly coming out of the equine world, where like a 60, 80, 90, 100 hour week, I have done those hours, is almost like normal. Like, you can have whatever you want in your business without burning out. It doesn't have to come at you sacrificing your life, okay? So you don't have to struggle. You don't have to figure it out on your own. I'm here to help you today, and I'm also here to help you after today. So I really wanted to share that, because I felt like I had to figure it all out in my early business days. And I also see so many people stuck with this kind of like blinkers on, that it's business has got to be hard, like you'll never make any money when you first start, and it's really tough, and it's so hard being a small business. And I honestly am here to say, like, that can be your reality if that's what you believe, but that can also be absolute BS. Okay, so that's the good news. You get to decide what you want and build the business that you want. So your next 10 clients, what are we doing today? We're going to focus firstly on setting the intention. Like, I'm a big believer in setting the intention, whether that's for the day, the week, the month, the quarter, the year. And we're going to do that right now. We're going to set the intention, and then I'm going to give you, like, this is really straightforward. It's really easy to action. 3 simple steps: clarity, action, embody. Okay, that is it. There's lots of detail in there. It's just 3 steps that I want you to be able to walk through. So you've got 30 days to get your next 10 clients. Working through these steps is going to be your route to that. So I've got to ask a favor. As I've said twice already, possibly 3 times, I am an action taker, and I really love inspiring others to take action. So can I ask a favor? Just watching this masterclass is not going to bring you 10 clients. You do have to do something, I'm afraid to say. And you're going to have to take some action. I really want you to focus on your next 5 moves and building your 30-day plan. I would love some commitment from those of you joining me live today. Could you stick a 1 in the chat if you're like, yep, I'm going to actually do something? Because we've all been to a training, a webinar, masterclass. So interesting, wrote lots of notes. Boom, shut the notebook. It's in the cupboard. We never do anything with it. And that, to me, is an absolute crying shame. So let's get some 1s in the chat. Yes, I'm going to do something. You might just action 1 thing. You might just think differently after this, and then feel differently every day. Like, it, you don't, I've got so much to share with you today. You don't have to action everything straight away, but you do need to commit. I am going to do something, okay? You really, really, really do. Because, yes, look at all these 1s. Amazing. I got a room of action takers. Fantastic stuff. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that commitment. I love that. Now, I share this same slide at the beginning of every single training that I have done for the past 6 or 7 years. So you may have seen this before. You've been in my world for a while. You may have seen this before. I call this the success code. Sometimes I call this the 3 keys, or the 3 things that you need for success as a practitioner. And isn't that great to know? Just need to worry about 3 things. You need knowledge and skills, okay? And I'm not here to support you with that today, but you do need hands-on skills. You need to be able to do the day job. Like, you need to be able to hands-on help an animal, support an animal to feel their best. Should we call it that? Because we've got people that do lots of different things, okay? So that's great. You guys have got this, okay? And you do spend lots of your time, all of you, developing these skills and, doing more and more to improve your knowledge and skills, which is fantastic. However, for building a successful business, we also need these other 2 things. So you need to be able to do the job, do the work that you do. You then need to believe and know in your bones, in your cells, everywhere, deep in your heart, that you can do that job, that you are amazing at what you do, that you are good enough, that you are enough. Let's take a little pause there. Let that sink in. When you, and I call that mindset for success, when you have that, everything else feels easier because you need to have skills, believe in those skills, then simply tell the world how you can help them and their animal, i.e., marketing. Marketing, which you're all doing some of right now, when you don't have this belief, is really hard work. You'll never be consistent. It feels like pushing water up a hill. It's just a bit icky, bit awkward, bit uncomfortable. The mindset work is literally the bridge. Okay, it really, really is. Telling the world about how you can help them and their animal, it should be fun. It should be easy. You should want to shout from the rooftops how you can help somebody and their horse and their dog and their any other animal. And if you don't feel like that right now, that's absolutely fine. This is your place to do some work, okay? And we are going to be touching a little bit on this today as well. But the reason I share this is because strategy alone will only get you so far. Investing in more courses, more training, more certifications will not bring you 10 new clients knocking to your door. You need all three of these. And I see practitioners all around the world, it happens everywhere, disproportionately, their energy, their time, their financial budgets all goes here. And yes, that is obviously important, but you need to focus on all three for success. Okay, so again, it gets to be easy. Now, I've shared here in this slide the methodology that I teach inside the Expert Academy, which is my 90-day group coaching program to help practitioners grow their business. The mindset, and we'll be looking at parts of this today, but the mindset, it wraps around everything we do. You need to build that success mindset. You need to look closely, and yes, it can feel painful at times, at your money mindset. You know, the reason you do that random discounting, or it feels awkward to say your prices, or you can't put your prices up, or you've put your prices up for new people, but you can't tell the existing people. Mindset it underpins everything that I teach, and this is the stuff that really gets the results. So yes, strategy really important, but training your brain, really evaluating your beliefs and feelings around money, and identity shifting, becoming and embodying that next level of you is what makes all of this really easy to implement. So I've hammered this point home for a reason, but it is so important that you are working on you to build your business. So my next question for you all is, what do you want? So is 10 clients in 30 days your goal? Do you have a different goal? All goals are welcome. So if you're here live, feel free to share it in the chat. Like, what is it you are after in your business right now? You might be here going, do you know what? I have literally just started my business. I want 50 clients as quickly as possible. You might be like, I've been going a while. I want to have, I don't know, 10 new clients a week. I want to have 40 new clients on my books, or whatever that looks like for you. You might be like, do you know what? I'm going to have a big year this year. I want to double my business. I want to 3 times my business. There's no right or wrong answer to this. If you feel called to share, then please do in the chat. But the reason I ask this question, it's not because I'm nosy, it's because you need this clarity. Because taking action when you are not clear on where you're going is really, really hard. So if you had a particular goal, and I'll use a horse example, if you knew that you wanted to do X, Y, or Z with your horse, you wanted to go out to a competition, or you wanted to perfect a particular dressage move, you'd know what your training would look like. You might not know all of the steps, but you'd have a bit of a plan for me because you knew where you're going. Now, when it comes to business building, you don't need to know all the steps to start with, but you need to know where you're going. So what is it you want? Okay. And there's another reason I've asked this very important question. I have to make sure I say this around the right way. So, do you want what you say you want? Now, if you go back to this previous slide, you might think, oh, Nicola, that is a silly question. Yes, of course I want 10 more clients. Of course I want to double my business, or whatever that looks like for you. But you'll be amazed how often I hear, I want more clients, I want more clients, but I'm tired, I'm busy, I'm overwhelmed. Da, 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 da. So it's really, really important. And you might not have an answer for this right this second. You may have to reflect on this a little bit more. It's really important that you actually believe and want what you say you want. Believe you can have it, believe you have capacity, and aren't also telling yourself a totally opposing story, because your brain cannot hold two opposing beliefs. So you will create cognitive distance if you are saying, I want my clients, I want my clients, I want to grow my business, I want to help my animals. Oh gosh, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, I'm so busy, I've got so much to do, I've got so much admin work to do. Your brain is just like, which one do I pick? And generally it'll pick whatever option makes it feel safe, which will generally be, don't get those extra clients, don't do any business building activities, because we're feeling tired, because we're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, stretched, whatever. So this will really resonate with a lot of you. I hear this all the time. I want this, but. So just start listening out to what stories you might be telling yourself. What is that little voice going along in your head? Because otherwise it makes it really, really hard to get on with building your business if you've got a part of you saying totally the opposite thing. Okay, so that's really, really important. It really is. Okay, what have we got in the goals section? Working part-time. Amazing. So Caroline, I think working for you, like working around the fact I have got time, like I've got time, and call out what you have got time for. You might have time for just 2 more clients, you might have time for 22 more clients, but decide and let your body and brain know that that is okay, it's safe, that you can do that. Coming back to business after a break, want a solid business, but also spend time with my toddler. 3 or 4 fully booked days. Okay, great. Karis, decide, what does fully booked look like for you? Because for some people that's 3 clients, for some people it's 11. There's no right or wrong answer, but you need to decide what that actually looks like, because your brain loves clarity. It really does. And then my next question on this is, can you hold what you want? Because if there is, again, a negative association or a little bit of a story going on, well, oh yes, but if I did have those extra 10 clients in the next 30 days, what if we're going too fast? Or what if this happened? And what if... It's amazing how your brain can go from 0 to about 190 miles an hour, and there's no rational thought. It's just shoom, like that. So you just need to sit with this for a little bit and just think, okay, is there any resistance? Is there any fear? Fear of success. Everyone thinks it's fear of failure, fear of success. That's such a popular one. Fear of having success and losing it. Like, there's so many blocks that we could be diving into, which we're not going to spend our time on today. But I want to give you this awareness that this is what's happening in your mind. Yeah, this is what's happening while you're listening to me. So call it out, dig down, find out what it is, and then it doesn't have to hold you back. Okay, and that's so important. It really is. Okay. Step number 1, remember I said this is 3 steps. I've kept this really, really straightforward for a reason. Clarity. Who are these ideal clients? So I'm just going to work on the fact everyone wants 10 clients in the next 30 days. So let's just say by the end of March, just for ease, you all want 10 new clients. Okay, fantastic. Who are they? Okay, you get to decide. You have a choice. You either are the person that's like, I'll just have anybody. I'll just take any client. That is not a fun way to build your business, nor is that sustainable or enjoyable. Or you get discerning and you decide who you actually want to work with. So who are these ideal clients? Now, I really believe, and I teach an entire module inside the Expert Academy about the power of a niche. It is so important to be a specialist, not just like, work with anybody. Now, it may well be that actually you have a really varied client load and caseload, and that's absolutely fine, but you need to have marketing and messaging and positioning that makes you stand out for a reason that you want. Like, you get to choose what this niche is and who you want to work with. But it means that, one, you just rise above that like vanilla. You know, there's lots of practitioners who are just like, yeah, I do this. And then someone else is like, yeah, I do this. It all sounds the same. Now, the fact you're here on this masterclass makes me think you're not like everybody else. And you do want to stand out, and you do have something really unique that you want to bring, because everybody does. Everybody has something really different. I was talking with a client about this recently, and she was talking about somebody else that we both mutually know. And it turns out they trained together. And I just thought how incredibly interesting it was how they've gone in they had exactly the same training at exactly the same time, but just their life experiences, their interests, their passions, they're just on such different paths, both crushing it, both really successful, but in such different ways. So I think if you're somebody that's thinking, oh yes, but am I different from whoever? Yeah, you are, because you are you. And when you are the business, which for the vast majority of you are the business, your energy and your passion, your uniqueness is part of what you're selling. It really is. So this niching is so, so important. You'll stand out, you'll get remembered, and it's really easy to position yourself as an expert when you're very clear on what you do. So last summer, I was very lucky. I was given a horse. I was given the ride on a 4-year-old ex-race horse. He is the sweetest horse. He's absolutely lovely. Now, if I was looking for somebody, and we do have a fabulous lady that works with him, because he's, as you can imagine, coming off the racetrack, got a few tight spots here and there. If I was looking for somebody, I would be looking for somebody that specialised in ex-race horses, or really understood thoroughbreds, or had some real understanding of the racing industry, for example. So then that would really appeal to me, because that's meeting what I need. Yeah. So when you get clear on your niche, it's so easy to be the expert, to stand out and get remembered. Having this niche will make your client attraction so much easier, gives you more clarity on your ideal client, allows you to specialize, and it affects everything from your copy, like the words you use, your branding, the imagery, marketing, where you are doing marketing activities, what you're saying, who you're saying to. It all comes down to who you are and what you specialize in. It really does. So if anybody is like, oh gosh, this is a bit tricky, like, how do I define who I am? Like, what is my niche? I believe, and I teach, that sometimes your niche finds you. Sometimes, and this is something I love helping people with, because when you're on the outside looking, it's generally quite easy to see, but when you're kind of in the thick of it, it can be like right in front of your face and you can't see it. But 3 things I think are really important. You have to be passionate about whatever slice of the equine or canine or both worlds you want. You've really got to love it. You've got to have some skills, knowledge, expertise. Like the example I gave of somebody helping me with Taz, I don't just want anybody that has equine experience. I want somebody that understands the stresses and strains that racing, I don't think he even raced actually, I think he just trained, would have put on his young body, and somebody that understands thoroughbreds and how they think and how they move and so forth. So somebody needs that skill set. So you need the skills, you need the passion, and then there needs to be a market for it. There needs to be demand. Now, if you are offering anything online, great. You've got a whole world to work with. If you are working on whatever is a sensible radius for you of where you're based, like you have some geographical restriction, then you need to know that in whatever that chosen area is, there's people who need your support. So let's go with the ex-racehorse example. There's an awful lot of ex-racehorses here in the UK. There's lots of off-the-track thoroughbreds across all of North America. Like, there's plenty of them. There's lots. Certainly here in the UK, there's ROR. There's like lots of great organisations. There's lots of more high-profile ex-racehorses. Like, there's demand. The demand is definitely out there, okay? I really urge you to go beyond the obvious, like the example I just used of an X-ray source. Consider your values, your energy, your vision. Like, and if you think about the clients that you currently have, or if you're just qualifying right now, the clients that you feel perhaps drawn to work with as part of case studies. I hear this all the time, but all my clients are so different. Well, trust me, there's something that binds them all together. There's some commonality that meant that all those people, while they may look different on the surface, have been brought to you. Like, you are attracting these clients, whether you realize it or not, but you are. There's something that means, let's just say it was, I don't know, some senior dogs, some sporting dogs, some family pets. You think, well, they've got nothing in common, but there's something that made them all want to come and work with you. So is it that the owners are perhaps very committed, they're really dedicated owners? Is it that you have a specialty in strength and conditioning or in rehab, for example? So there is something, even if you're thinking, wow, like they all seem so different. Go deeper, give this a little bit more thought, because there is definitely something that binds them all together. Now, on these next two slides, I want to share something with you that can feel a bit tough actually to hear. So this is served up with some love and some caring, but it's really, really important. Some of you will already know this, and for some of you, you'll be like, whew, really? And if you already know this, it's never a harm to hear this again. Your ideal client isn't anybody with a dog or a horse. And when I ask, roomfuls of people, whether it's online or in person, who is your ideal client? Somebody will always say, oh, anybody with a horse, or anybody with a dog and a credit card, or anybody who'll pay me. That's not, okay, that's not your ideal client. It's not anybody. And this is the hardest bit to hear. You aren't for everyone. So not everybody is for you, and you are not for everybody. You're not, however great you are, however lovely and charming you are, and I know you are, because you just wouldn't be here if not. You're not for everybody. You're not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody is going to need or want your services, and that can sting. Okay, I get that. What I think is really important in business growth is taking the personal out. Don't let this sting you. Like, let this fuel you. Let this be really useful information, because this frees you up. When you can take this and go, great, now I can really let that sink in. Not everyone's for me. I'm not for everybody. You can focus on the people that you are for and they are for you. And that's not everybody. Cool. That means you don't have to try and people please and appeal to everybody, which is the fastest route to the bottom. It really is. So I share the tough business lessons with love, but really to free you up, to allow you to focus your time and energy on what actually matters. Your dream clients. So your ideal clients, your dream clients, I will use those words interchangeably. But the point is, you get to decide. You don't have to scrape the bottom and just work with anybody. You get to work with people that you actually want to. So who are the ones you want to work with, and who are the ones you would love to attract into your world? And you might, if you already have clients, which, lots of you do, which is great, you may be thinking, oh my gosh, yes, if only I had 5, I don't know, Susans or Beckys or Katies or whoever, if only I could just copy my favorite client, Deb's, into 10 more versions, my life would be complete. Okay, great. You get to choose, okay? So if you already have clients that you absolutely love working with, fantastic. Reflect, like, what is it about that person that means you love working with them so much? Because when you start getting into this and thinking like those clients, the actions become so much easier, okay? So who are they? And start thinking like them. Like, where are they in real life? Where are they online? What's bothering them? Like, what's making them wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking, oh gosh, if only, or why is my horse doing this? Or my gosh, is my older dog feeling 110%? He seemed a bit slower on his walk today, or whatever it is. Like, what's really under their skin? What's bothering them? Again, when you know that, you can answer the next one. What problem do they need solving? So what's really scratching their brain, and what do they need help with? What are their values? If some of you may have experienced this. If you ever try working with somebody that you're not quite a good fit or a match for, it's painful, isn't it? Like, you've got to have the same shared values about an animal, about the role of an owner, if owner is even a word that you would use, and how best to support an animal, and what needs prioritizing and so forth. Like, you've really got to be on the same page. Otherwise, it grates. It doesn't really work. What results do you offer? And does that match what they need and want? Now, I appreciate results can feel like a hard one to answer, because, no, of course, you can't say, one session with me, that's it. Your horse will never take a lame step in its life again. Or that's it, one session, 60 minutes with your dog, that's it. You're never going to need the vet again. Of course not. That would be absolutely ridiculous. But you do get results. You have lots of evidence of animals that you've worked with in the past, be that paid clients, be that case studies, where things improved, where you did something that you supported the owner, and then the animal moved from here over to here. So you know that you get results. Does the results that you offer match what somebody is looking for? Okay, really important that you literally become your ideal client just temporarily, so you can start thinking like them. Okay, and they also encourage you to go to the flip side, go to the dark side, if you like, and allow yourself to think about who you don't want to work with. So if any of these questions about dream clients are feeling a little tricky to answer, which sometimes happens, this is the answer. Get clear on who you don't want to work with, because who you do want to work with is simply the opposite, simply the flip side. So, for example, you don't want to work with people that aren't invested mentally, emotionally, and financially in supporting their animal. You don't want to work with people that are questioning and think they know better, and they're Googling things every 5 minutes and trying to, I guess, undermine is the word I'm looking for. You don't want to work with people like that. You don't want to work with people that aren't going to put the effort in, because it doesn't matter what you do in your session if that saddle still doesn't fit that horse, or if the owner is not doing any of the exercises that you're suggesting, or making the environment modifications, or taking your advice. That's not who you want to work with. So give yourself permission to get clear on who you don't want to work with, because your marketing should be designed in a way that you get to attract the people you want and also repel the people that you don't want. So this will give you the ultimate edge in clarity. It really will. And then I really suggest that you take it a bit further and look at your website, look at your socials. Are you even speaking to your ideal clients? Is it clear who you help? Does it feel like, if I was your ideal client, and for some of you I may well be, if I lived in your area, are you talking to me? Or are you just kind of having this vanilla type of messaging where you're just trying to appeal to everybody and in actual fact appealing to nobody? So dig into what you've already got out there, and maybe it's great, and maybe it really does match, or maybe it needs some refinements, okay? And there's no judgment. You're here to take action, which leads me very nicely to step 2, action. Okay, so now we have clarity. We can get stuff done. We can get shit moving. Now, remember, guys, remember your commitments. We had lots of ones in the chat, and if you're joining on the replay, I know you're just as committed to doing something with this information. So this is the doing section, okay? I want you to get clear on where your ideal clients are, and I'd love you to just scribble down 3 places where your ideal clients are, and that could be physical places in person, it could be online. There's no end. You can come up with 30 if you wish, but let's just start with 3, and how you can be there too, okay? Because this action section step, whatever you want to call it. It's all about taking aligned action, okay? It's not about trying to do 20 things badly. It's about taking action that really feels like right for you, okay? So maybe your dream clients use a particular local dog walker, or there's a certain farrier or a particular vet, and you just know that, I don't know, okay, for a vet, I'm going to use the local vets that I use for my cat. It's a real small practice. You feel like you're going into someone's living room. Like their appointment times, they must have some schedule because they always seem to be there for ages. They're very chatty. It's really like it really feels like they care, and that's really lovely. And that's a big contrast to some practices where you just feel like you're on a conveyor belt, particularly small animal, and you just feel like they just don't not that bothered. They just really want your credit card details. So you need to have that alignment with whoever it is that you want to work with. So that might be a vet, it might be dog trainer, it might be a horse trainer who has a big barn. It might be a physical place, it might be a show centre, it might be a big organisation that you'd like to work with. It doesn't really matter. But when you know who your clients are, your ideal clients are, and then you give yourself clarity on where they are, you can then start thinking about how you can put yourself where these clients are, okay? Now, and the other question you can ask yourself is, what are you doing right now to be where your ideal clients are? And is this something you can double down on? Because there may be something you've done in the past or you're doing currently and you're like, that really worked. Like I did build a really good relationship with the vet, but actually it's just gone a bit quiet recently. All right, yeah, I did actually work really closely with this hydrotherapy centre, but it was about 3 years ago and I just haven't heard from them for a while. It may be something you can do more of or you can reactivate. So where? We've looked at who, now it's where, okay? Now, at this point, I'm going to share with you the client attraction formula that I've created, that I've taught to probably close to 1,000 practitioners all around the world, and that really, really delivers. So we're going to go through these points in quite a top level amount of detail, because we'll just be here for hours. Like this is like weeks worth of coaching and training. But I want to share with you this because this is what really, really delivers, okay? So this is what I have developed over the years as the best client attraction formula. Social media is not going to be everything to your business. It's not going to be everything to client attraction, but it is a part that we do not want to miss, okay? Now, I hear lots of people say, oh, word of mouth gets me clients, word of mouth gets me clients. Great. Word of mouth gets you clients. That is absolutely fantastic. Word of mouth is like the icing on the cake. If you don't have the cake underneath, word of mouth is just going to run off. Like you don't have control unless you take strategic action, which we'll mention about word of mouth, to ask your clients to refer you. Word of mouth is sporadic. Word of mouth is up 1 minute, it's quiet for ages, okay? And this is where social media is great for new people finding you. It's great for building trust and authority. But it's also really important, if word of mouth has served you well to date or in the past, social media is the unseen part of word of mouth. It really, really is. So social media is a part of this client attraction formula. Strategic partnerships, as we've just chatted about there, is a big part as well. And that may be strategic partnerships with current clients. It may be with other providers. Like there's no end to this. And that's one of my favorite bits to teach. It's so fun. Veterinary referrals. Now, unless you're based in some parts of the US and Canada can be a bit tricky with vets, I know as well. Working with vets is definitely something you want to be spending some time on, unless you're in a place where vets are you just not going to entertain working with you, or it's just really difficult, or there's some kind of legality sticky point where it's just not going to work. Working with vets is really, really great because veterinary referrals are a really strong source of clients, okay? And then expert positioning. Now, one of these is good. You need all of them, because for the ideal client journey, I might have been recommended to your services by my vet. I might have also heard about you from my dog trainer, dog walker, whoever that is. Then maybe I don't know, your name's popped up somewhere on a podcast, or I've seen you somewhere else. And then I find you on social media. I might follow you there for a while. You can see how that gets me to know who you are. It builds trust. Whether I jump straight in on just one of these, or I may need all four of these to become a client. But this is about not just like quick, get me a client. This is about sustainable practices which will continue, that you continue to implement and will continue to grow your business, not just for 30 days, for the next 5, 10, 30 years even. So some of this is short term, and will work quickly, and some of this takes longer, but actually the real results come from having all of them. Okay, it really does matter. So this is the formula, and then you get to build your own client attraction system, and the power of follow-up needs to be in there as well. And that's what delivers again and again and again. It really does. And now for anybody that's like, oh my gosh, do I need to do all that? Yes. This is what my clients have to say. This is what I teach in all of my programs. This is what works, okay? So it's really important that you're not just going, oh, I don't know, I might just do one of them. Yeah, you do need all four. You really do. Okay, social media. I'm going to touch on these 4 points just briefly, and then we're going to look at embodiment. So social media is an absolute game changer. Now, some of you might be like, oh, it doesn't get many clients. Nowadays, how people use social media is we get lots of silent lurkers, okay? And it was really interesting. We, inside the Expert Academy, we were talking about this recently. Somebody saying, well, it's a 12-week program, and it's run more over like a kind of sort of 15-week period because of Christmas this year. So our November cohort had a slightly longer time because we had a break for Christmas. And one of my lovely clients in there, she was like, oh, I've been really consistent on social, and then about 3 weeks ago, she was like, oh my gosh, bing, 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 bing. People are just suddenly coming out of the woodwork. They've been there for ages on social media, but now I'm getting messages, now I'm getting comments, now people are reaching out and getting in touch. And these days, we all want a quick fix, don't we? Social media usage is that people just watch, they don't comment, they don't like things as much as they used to. And then when they are ready, they'll pounce, they'll be in touch. They now know where you are, because you've been having all this time, you thought you were talking to nobody. You've been having this kind of conversation, if you like, with all these people. You've been helping them with your content. You've been showing up consistently week after week, educating, building connection, building trust, and it works. But sometimes it can feel like you're talking to yourself. It can be, you can give you some great short-term results, but it can also be a long game. It really can. So I'm a massive fan of social media. I really am. And I would encourage you to find a way to use social media that works for you. Like, I'm not here to say, oh, you've got to be posting 3 times a day. No, not at all. Yeah, some of our clients post twice a week, but they post every week with very intentional content. And I really believe well thought out content 3 times, twice a week is much better than kind of any old stuff that's a bit vanilla and inconsistency, because you want to train social media and train your followers that you do show up. And if that is twice a week, great, so be it, but do it consistently, okay? Because social media is lots of fun. You get to have fun, make business friends, network, find other people you might want to work with, attract your next 10 clients. Like, there's no end to what social media can do for you. So if anyone's like, oh, it doesn't work, you may just not have been playing the game properly, okay? Building relationships. Okay, so these strategic relationships, strategic partnerships. Right, remember back to a couple of slides ago, and I know I talk fast, that's just who I am. I know I've given you lots and lots of stuff to do, but you've got your list of 3 places places or people, how can you help these organizations or these people? What value can you give either to them personally or to their audience? It might be online, it might be in person, it could be a dog trainer, maybe you could do something for their class, it could be a coach or a trainer with horses. Could you treat their horse? Could you do a demo? Like, there's the only limit on your answers to this is your imagination. Like, there's no end of things you can come up with. But I really do encourage you to take some action on this. So you've got your three, right? You know who you want to attract as clients. You know where they are. You've got 3 places jotted down. Now think, like, how can you get this ball rolling? Because when you approach somebody that maybe doesn't even know you, and you're like, hey, right, I've come across you, however way you've come across them. I can see we both care about X, Y, and Z, or I can see we both have whatever in common. I'd really like to help your clients. What do you think? I'd love to help your clients. Here's a couple of ideas. I'd love to chat to you about this further. Like, people say yes. When they can see they're getting something from you, they don't mind they've never heard of you before. When you can share a bit about you, a bit why you care, a bit about what that connection you can see is, you'd be amazed at how many people just go, yeah, brilliant. Love you to come and talk to my training class. Yes, I'd love to recommend you to my clients. Yes, I'd love you to come and run a lunch and learn training at my vet practice, or whatever that looks like. So you need to come at this with value. You need to give something, because if you just kind of come up to a vet, a trainer, whoever, and just be like, hi, I'm in your area, it'd be great if you could refer me some clients, they're probably not going to, are they? Like, if somebody came up to you, if it was the other way around, if it was a new vet and they come up to you and they're like, hey, brand new in your area, it'd be great if you could just send your clients to us, tell everybody about us. Would you? Or would you be like, that's kind of a bit weird, I don't even know you? Yeah. So think about it from the other perspective. When you come with value, people say yes. You get access to their audience, whether that's on social media, whether that's live in person, whether that's to a mailing list, whatever that looks like. But it's invaluable. You're speaking to people that are ready to listen. That you're speaking to a warm audience. You've been brought in as a trusted professional to an audience of people that are already wanting to listen. Like, you literally can't buy that. I mean, you can, but you could spend an awful lot of money buying that with ads. This is the quick and easy route. It really is. Okay, vet referrals. Again, this is all big chunks of training. Like, inside the Expert Academy, we spent a week on each. We spent a whole masterclass, we spent a whole week on each of these sections. So I'm really just giving you a couple of top line bits here. You need to think, who is it you want to work with when it comes to vet referrals? Go beyond the practice. If it's equine, it's a very different approach to canine. If it's canine, you want to be thinking, like, who are the gatekeepers? Who do I need to get on side? How am I going to get my foot in the door? And again, go back to that value, as I shared in that last slide. What can you offer them? Vets are busy people, but they're also, having worked with, probably close to 60 different vets in delivering our training courses in the early years of the business, they're also incredibly giving, very knowledgeable, yes, but also very generous with their time and their knowledge. And in my experience, I think of all the vets I've worked with, we've perhaps had one experience where I thought, oh my gosh, you're a nightmare, and I don't want to work with you again. And that's a pretty low rate of difficult to work with vets. So some people have had experiences with vets that are a bit tricky for whatever reason, but in my experience, most vets are actually, they're just busy, but they're really open to working with practitioners. So think what you can offer. Get your brave pants on, and pick up the phone, get in touch, and have a bit of a plan around vet referrals. And then final part of the client attraction formula is expert positioning. Okay, so we've talked a lot about being where your audience is. Okay, but how else can you be positioned as the expert? And this really goes back to that action and clarity stages. It really does. Is it writing? Is it speaking? Is it podcasting? Telling your story, offering value? Like, when I see somebody here is the expert, and then my friend tells me about them, and then, oh, look, I follow them on Facebook. Then I ask the vet, and they're like, oh yeah, I've worked with so and so. Yeah, she's great, or he's great. Bing, that's it. I'm in. I'm in with my credit card. I want to be a client for life because I trust you so much quicker. One, because I've seen you in lots of places, but two, I have trust that you are the expert. Like I'm like, yeah, that's going to be my go-to person to help me with my animal. And clients who feel like that are clients that stay, clients that are a dream to work with. So tell your story, offer value, but look at how you position yourself as the expert. And if for whatever reason using other people's stages feels tricky, build your own stage. You know, you can set up your own webinars, events, clinics, podcasts, publish your own articles, write a book yourself. Like, there is no limit to how you can position yourself as an expert. You can use other people to validate you as the expert, or you can just do it yourself and what I call build your own stage. They both work, okay? But you being seen as the expert is absolutely crucial. It really, really is. Okay, I'm going to move on to step number 3. Let me just quickly check in the chat. Okay, right. Embody. Okay, so this final step, you know who you want to talk to. You've got that clarity on who you want to speak to and also what you want. Do you want loads more clients? Do you want a few more clients? Do you want to build other offers inside the business? You know now action you need to go and take. Great. Now, this is, in some ways, this is my favorite bit. This is the bit you don't want to miss, okay? Embodiment. Who do you need to be to make all this happen? To enjoy this journey, enjoy this process, and to have that success and it feel comfortable and it feel a pleasure. Because the last thing I want is for you to go take all this action and then you're like, oh my gosh, I got those extra clients, I'm so stressed out. And then that's because you'd have missed step 3. Okay, so who is this version of you? Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know exactly who this version is of you, but I do know this. They are a different version of you than the one that is watching this training or watching this replay, okay? Something about this next version of you is different. It could be your energy, your posture. It could be how you think about yourself. It could be your thoughts, feelings, beliefs. It could be routines. It could be how you eat your breakfast. It could be tiny. It could be massive, but something is shifted. How do I know that? Because if you were already that version of you, you'd have those 10 clients. You wouldn't be on this webinar because you'd be like, no, I've got everything I need. I don't need a training on that. Yeah. So what's different? Who is this version of you that attracts these clients just with ease? Because it doesn't have to be difficult. Yeah. Stop thinking of yourself as literally a magnet attracting clients. It's not getting clients, it's attracting clients, and that can hold that next level of success and enjoy it. Okay, so this embodiment part, there's lots of things you can do, and again, this is a real top line because this is like the deep identity shifting work that I offer to my one-to-one clients inside the Expert Academy and my one-to-one coaching clients. It's deep, like it's multifaceted work, but as a quick top line run through, there's so much you can do to be that next version. It might be down to different routines and rituals. So if you think, okay, if I had my next 10 clients, what would my day look like? Or whatever your goal is, 20, 50, 100 new clients, whatever it looks like for you, what would be different? What would I do differently in my life? And it could be something that seems totally unrelated to your business. But there'd be things I know now, I would put a lot of money on the fact there's things that you do every day that you would do differently. You'd show up for yourself differently. You'd behave in different ways. So what routines would you do? Would there be any rituals that you'd do? Maybe right now you don't love looking at the numbers in your business. Let's just take that because that's a popular one. That version of you that has that, whatever that looks like, that next level of success, you have a routine around looking at your numbers. You make it into a ritual, like it's something you actually look forward to doing, is diving into the numbers because you don't feel scared of them, because you understand them and you feel happy with that section. So what routines and rituals? Habits and behaviors. So what would you do as a habit? It might be a habit that you create, or it might be a habit that you do right now that you would stop, that you know doesn't serve you, like a doom scroll, or like following all the other practitioners in your area, which is something I get all of my clients to stop doing. And maybe it's that. Maybe there's a behavior that you have that you want to change, that you want to stop, or there's something new that you start. Maybe it's that you take daily business building action. Maybe that's a new behavior. What do you think? What do you believe? What's different? I know that a thought that next level of you would have is that attracting clients is easy, that all the clients I want to work with, they're out there. There is enough clients, that clients find me with ease, that I get new inquiries every day, every week, whatever that feels right for you. Those would be the thoughts that I know would go through your head. So start really digging into this. And some of those words I've just shared, some of those thoughts, you can take them. I'm gifting them to you. Let that sink in, because imagine if you started to rewire that as a new thought in your head, that all the clients I need are out there. There's more than enough clients. Like, clients want to work with me. Clients want to pay me money. Clients find me with ease. Imagine if you took clients find me with ease and you consciously rewired that as a new thought. So you automatically, that's going on repeat in your head. Clients find me with ease. Clients find me with ease. Clients find me with ease. Like, how easy would your life be if that was your default thought? Yeah. And you can change this. You can change this. This is all available to all of you. It really, really is. But it does take some conscious effort in the beginning, a bit like learning to drive did, learning to ride a horse, learning all of your amazing practitioner training. It seems easy now. It was hard in the beginning, yeah? And rewiring your brain can feel a bit challenging to start with, but it becomes really easy. What about your environment? What would be different here? Now, sometimes, and it's really funny. And Lana, who's on the call, worked with Lana last year for a bit, and she'll confirm this. That it's no coincidence that when we dig into identity work with my coaching clients, that people change the furniture around in their house, that they create new offices, that they paint walls, they buy new desks, they redesign part of their environment because they become a different person. They change their environment to become that different person, or they've suddenly become that different person. They're just like, whoa, this just doesn't fit. Like, I need this. I want it to look like that. So there's things that you can do on like a micro level to change your environment, or there's much bigger things you can do. But your environment is giving you signals day and night, literally, about who you are, what you can have, how you feel, your energy. It's so critical. And sometimes it can be the smallest things that change how you show up, change your energy, change your motivation, change your inspiration. So think, what would be different if you could just bing, magic, whatever that next chapter is, what looks different in your environment? Okay, give yourself a little bit of time to think about that. So the ultimate question we're answering is, who is this version of you? Because as I said, they are different. And you get to design this. I mean, how lucky are you guys that you get to design this and you get these tools? Because you know what? Most people are just sleepwalking through life. This day is the same as the day before, which is the same as the day before that. You get this pattern interrupt to just go, do you know what? I'm going to change things. I'm going to change things up. And your life will look different, radically different if you want it to, as a result. Or you just keep everything the same and nothing changes. And that really is what it boils down to. It's so sad in some ways, actually, that people could have a different life and they don't. But you guys are in the right place because you can have all the success that you want and you have the tools to do it. Now, it is also really important to recognize that just knowing what to do, knowing these 3 steps is not going to give you the results that you crave. Of course, it's not. You need that deeper identity shifting. You need accountability in the same way that I am a qualified riding instructor. As not a chance I can single-handedly retrain a 4-year-old ex-racehorse on my own. I need help. I need support. I need accountability. I need a cheerleader. I need somebody to help me with that. Yeah. And you do too when it comes to implementing and growing your business. And then you need to personalize the steps to work for you. Now, if you don't do this, you won't get the results because it will feel hard. It will just feel like it doesn't quite fit. I was talking about that aligned action. It's not just like everybody should go and work with a dog trainer, not at all. It's really, really important to make these steps feel right for you, but they also need to make strategic sense. And it's going to look slightly different for everybody in terms of what you prioritize first, who you're reaching out to, who you're working with, but it really does matter that you personalize it. So what does, if I'm just telling you what makes it not work, what does make it all work? Becoming the person that actions the plan. Like I've talked lots about changing you, about mindset beliefs, about identity and embodiment. You do need to become that person who does take the action. Personalized support, a bit like with me training the horse. You do need support for the good times and for the times it feels hard. You need somebody in your corner and you need to take action. Remember at the beginning, you were like, yes, 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 and taking action, even if it feels uncomfortable. And it will feel uncomfortable. And that's a good thing. So how easy it is to attract your next 10, 20, 30, whatever clients in the next 30 days really comes down to how much you want to take action and how willing you are to get uncomfortable, because that's what it comes down to. And some people just are not willing to do the work. And those are the people that say, oh, it's really hard. It doesn't need to be hard at all. So if you truly want to attract these extra clients, 10, 20, 30, whatever, in the next 30 days and beyond, you've got 3 options. This is how I see it. You've got 3 options. Over here, to the left, stay the same. Keep sleeping, walking through life, do what you're doing and just keep doing it, yeah? Probably nothing's going to radically change. So that's one option. Straight ahead lane, try and implement these steps, these 3 steps, and kind of fingers crossed, hope it works, try it on your own and see how it gets on. A bit like me trying to train the horse. I could go to a webinar and I'll try and do those things and just keep my fingers crossed, or get some help. Let me help you with proven strategies, mindset leaps, accountability, and what works. So the choice is yours. And I know where I would be leaning to in your shoes and where I'll be leaning to with getting support for training my horse for sure. So the Expert Academy that I've spoken to you guys about a little bit so far tonight, I want to just take the opportunity to talk to you a little bit more, because I know there's some of you here who are just like, yes, I just want some help. I want these proven steps. I want the strategies and I want support to implement it. And I'm ready to take action. I want to make a difference. And I really want to see a difference in my business. So this is the right place for you then. This is 12 weeks of learning and action taking. It's those proven strategies, personalized support, and lots and lots and lots of accountability. And it's designed exclusively for equine and canine practitioners. If you run a tack shop, this is not the place for you, okay? This is just for equine and canine therapists, practitioners, body workers, hydrotherapists, massage therapists, so forth, okay? So if you're sick of second guessing, overthinking, like feeling like you're spinning it all and it's just not working, feeling frustrated with your progress, then this is for you. Like, this is the ultimate shortcut. It really is. My gosh, I wish I'd had something like this at my fingertips when it came to growing my business in the early days. So I've shared with you here the core curriculum. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this, but you can see that we cover an awful lot. And if you think back to one of those early slides I shared with you today about that success code, it's all about strategy and mindset, okay? So we have got so much in here that is what you need to know, and it's the things that people get stuck with. So we're giving you the tools to not get stuck, and we're giving you the tools for growth. And that's really what the Expert Academy is all about. It's a place of growth. You grow yourself and you grow your business, and you come out the other side, honestly, like a different person. To the Expert Academy cohort that we've just brought to a close, one of my fabulous clients in there, she shared at the end of January, a couple of weeks ago, that not only did she hit her January goal by, I think, by about an extra £2,000 or £3,000, like quite significantly hit her goal. It was even higher than she'd first calculated because she'd forgot to add in some extra payments from somewhere else. And that's what happens when you take consistent action and you work on yourself. It all comes together. And you really do need to have this niche, to have these offers and high ticket offers, strategic partnerships, social media, money mindset, like it all comes together to give you the tools and the skills to use again and again. So it's, yes, you'll have an incredible 90 days inside this program, but you also know what to do for the next 90 days and the next 90 days after that and the 90 days after that. And I think having run this program for 6 years, maybe a little bit longer actually, one of the things that brings me great joy is when I catch up with people that took this program years ago, and they're like, yeah, I still use those things that you taught me. I still work on my mindset every day. And they've grown the business from here to over here because they've just consistently done what we teach, what this curriculum covers. So this stuff works. It really, really does. So who is this program right for? It's for people that are sick of waiting. Like they're just like, I just want to get results. It's for people that do genuinely want support. And it is for people that are ready to do the work on themselves and on their business. Okay. Now, one of the questions I sometimes get asked is has anybody been through this program that's not worked for them? And I can say, yes, there have been, I'd say 2 or 3 people out of several hundred where it's not worked for them. One person who didn't want to do any mindset work, they got kind of half the results because they did half of the work. One person who never showed up to a single call, never partook in any of the training. I have no idea if it worked for them or not. I'm assuming it perhaps didn't. And we are really careful about who we let in. So it does work for these people because they're prepared to do the work. It would be a bit like saying you wanted to get fitter and enlisting the service of a personal trainer, but actually not doing the training. Yeah, you've got to be prepared to train yourself, to take action, to become a different person, and to do things that maybe do make you feel uncomfortable. Because at the other side, that's where all the sweet stuff happens. So this is who the program's for and who it's not for. It's not for somebody that doesn't want to take action. Is this the right time for you? That's probably another question you could be wondering. We run this program a couple of times a year. Our next opening for this program, this is all taught live. It's all recorded and you get ongoing access to all of the replays, all of the recordings. The next time this is open is October. So maybe it's the right time for you. Maybe you think, oh, is it, isn't it? Is it the right time to put your business dreams on hold for 6 months? I think that's probably the question I'd be asking myself. So whether it's exactly right for you right now, or whether you're thinking, oh, I don't know, you probably don't want to wait 6 months. If your dreams are burning a hole in your head, then this probably is the time to take action. Investment. So you might be thinking, okay, well, yeah, it sounds great. How much is it going to cost, and so forth? We have 3 payment options. So you can pay in full, you can make 3 payments, or you can pay monthly over 12 months. So we've designed very intentionally these 3 payment programs to be very, very accessible. So if you're right at the beginning of your business journey and you're just like, well, my business is literally just going, like I don't have masses of cash in the business, that 12-month payment plan is probably for you. If you're somebody that's like, right now I just like to go all in, that pay in full may be the best option for you. So we've designed it so that it is accessible, so that it is available to you. And depending on what you charge, we typically find that your next 20, maybe to 25, depends what you charge, bookings will pay for the entire investment. So if you're thinking, oh gosh, yes, this would be amazing, but is the money there and so forth? Well, yeah, like 20 to 25 bookings. We've seen this time and time again with clients all around the world, treating all different animals, all different price points. People do get a really good return on their investment, because the new clients, the new growth in the business very typically does support that investment. So that's covered off time, we've covered off money, we've covered off who it is for, we've covered off what's inside the program. We have some amazing bonuses which do end on the 4th of March. I'm not going to read them all out. You can read them. There's lots and lots in there. We've put in all the things that we know get extra results. So one-to-one coaching call, really helpful to get people some tailored advice. Some people take that at the beginning of the program. Some people take that right at the end. Some people in the middle. It's entirely up to you guys. We give you 12 months of social media templates, calendars, copy. Like, we're basically kind of doing like 90% of your social media for you. And that just makes your life so much easier. And then you've got some other mini courses, masterclasses, and so forth, because there's so much that you can keep coming back to. And we also have some conference tickets in there for equine practitioners. If you're a canine practitioner, what people have done in the past is just gift that ticket to somebody else in the community, which is just a lovely thing to give back to the industry. It really is. So those bonuses, like the program is just under £1,500 or $2,000. The bonuses are worth more than the value of the program, so than the cost of the program. Sorry. So you've got like so much in there, which is absolutely fantastic. And as somebody that's really generous and loves giving, it's really lovely to be able to offer so much. It really is. So if you have taken lots out of this masterclass, which I know you will have done, and you're thinking, actually, do you know what? I could make my life a lot easier. I could love some help. Then your next step is to book a call to speak to me or one of the team about whether the Expert Academy is right for you. So this call is all about us getting to know each other, finding out more about you and your business, and if this is the right fit, because we do turn people away from this program where it's not the right fit. I can think of plenty of people where this has not been the best fit. Either they need one of my high level programs, or this is just not the right time, or they're just not quite ready. So this call, which is on Zoom, we'll chat for about 20-30 minutes. It's all about making sure that you are right for the program, the program is right for you. And if it's not, we will tell you. Like, we get amazing results. We've had hundreds of super happy practitioners who have gone from part-time to full-time, doubled their income, 6 times their income, gone from 3 clients to fully booked, gone from nothing to full-time in like 6 months, like all sorts of amazing success stories. And that, I think, is down to the fact, yes, it's great what we do, what we teach, but it's that we have the right people in there in the first place. So if we don't think it's the right fit, we don't think it's the right time for you, we're very honest and we will tell you. So if you feel called, we would love, love, love to help you. And next cohort kicks off on the 9th of March. It'd be amazing to welcome you in there if you feel called. So please, if this has really spoken to you and you would love some extra help, you don't need to struggle. Jump onto one of these calls and we can chat that through, and it would be an absolute pleasure to do so. So thank you so much for joining me for your next 10 clients in the next 30 days. I have loved delivering this session. So whether you've been able to join us live today, and thank you so much for rescheduling things and organizing your diary to do so, or whether you're here on the replay, you're so welcome as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your energy. Thank you so much for being here. And I really look forward to supporting some of you even further over the coming weeks inside the Expert Academy. It's been such a pleasure to see you all and help you all. So yeah, have fun, and I'll see lots of you inside the program in the next couple of weeks. And wish you all a pleasant rest of your day. And I look forward to welcoming many of you into the Expert Academy in the next coming days and weeks. Right, that's all from me. Bye for now, everybody. Take care.